Welcome back to the production van build. I've seen a lot of cool Plasti-Dip emblems out there, and I thought it looked super cool. So what I wanted to do with this van is cover all the emblems and the front grille and the rims. I thought it would look really good, and I've seen the longevity of this, and some people's emblems have lasted over 5 years. So that's as much as pretty much what you're going to get out of a vehicle wrap a lot of times. So really excited about doing this. Let's get started. First thing we're going to do is take a piece of steel wool and rough up the rims just a little bit so that we can get a nice rough finish on it so that the Plasti-Dip will stick a little bit better. So let's get started with that. You don't have to go crazy with this. It's actually not going to do a ton, but it's just going to rough it up just a little bit and also help clean up some of that stuff that's crap that's on there. So maybe some rust and dirt. And we're also going to be cleaning these up too with a brush. But I probably am not going to do this to the emblems because I just think it'll be a little too much. So once you get all of the scrubbing and everything done, you're going to want to hit it with some degreaser. We're going to do that with all the emblems. And then we're also going to do the same thing to the rim, get it scrubbed up really nice and make sure it's really dry before we start applying the Plasti-Dip. If you pile it up on there and you start to really dig into those crevices, actually gets a lot of that dirt out of there. Again, it's tedious, but you're gonna like the way it covers if you do it right the first time. I want to show you kind of the close-up on, how dirty these are to start. And once you get these cleaned up, the Plasti-Dip is going to stick so much better. So it's definitely worth taking the time to get these cleaned up. You see this one, and then you see what we just did, how much cleaner that's going to be once we start applying the paint to it. There is a sticker right here about how to jumpstart this vehicle. There's a different way of jumpstarting it versus the battery. So I'm gonna tape over that and keep it just so it's, stays on here in case somebody else needs that information. But all this other stuff we can get cleaned up and painted. logo here, give it a head start to dry. But it's gonna be pretty hot today here in Colorado, so I'm not too worried about this stuff drying up before we need to paint. You want to make sure everything on the wheels is dry. So one of the ways you can do that is just take some kind of blower. I just have this to blow up an air mattress, and you just knock some of the water out of those lug nuts areas. While you're waiting for everything to dry up, what you want to do is take a bag, any plastic bag, and rip it long ways. That way you have a little bit more surface area. And then you're going to take it and you're going to stuff it in behind here and kind of work its way around, because this is going to help you protect the rotors when you're starting to paint here. It's a little tedious, but it's worth it. You don't want to get all of this on your brakes. And think of it this way. Once you do it once on one rim, that's it. Then you put all your coats on and you don't have to worry about it. And you don't have to think after I'm done with this, did I destroy my rotors? Because we are going to put about 5, possibly 6 coats. A lot of people will do 4 to 5. Kind of one of my friends and I, we talk about over-engineering all the time. It's kind of our shtick. I learned it a little bit more from him, a little bit more from my stepdad, because he always taught me, like, if you're going to do something right, do it right. Don't half-ass anything. So we're only going to full-ass this all the way. So I just realized the blower that I was using that blows up the air mattress was not long enough to reach from inside the truck. So had to go grab a blow dryer from the house. Now I'll finish blowing out all the water on these rims. So another trick I learned is to use tire foam around the tire, and when you pull the Plasti-Dip off, it actually comes off really easily. So we're just gonna put tire foam around. We're gonna use a little rag to clean off the rim as we do it. We're gonna do that to all 4. Okay, now that that process is done, we're gonna do the tedious task of taping everything off. Honestly, get lost in the process. You can use newspaper, masking tape. That works just fine. I grabbed a roll of this paper at Home Depot because I was there buying all the plywood. So let's get started on this Ram logo right here first, because the sun is hitting it and it's just gonna get hotter and hotter. And so this will be the best spot to start because it's all dried out. Let's go. So I'm sure we've all taped things before. What I've learned from this process is that a bigger surface area open around the emblem is actually better, because when you go to peel it off, once this is all done, it actually peels away very nicely. So we're going to start with a bigger surface area. And some people, don't waste tape and they tape their paper up at the same time, but I like to mask my area off first and then go back with the paper. So we're going to get a nice big area. Again, this is just what I've learned from other YouTubers and other videos on YouTube, and I thought that that was a great idea. It honestly freaked me out the first time I saw it, It's like, why are they painting over so much area and all they want is the emblem? Well, comes to find out that it actually, when you peel it away, it's a lot better. So let's put the paper on here. We're just gonna give us a nice area so we don't have a bunch of overspray. One little helpful tip while you're putting on all of the paper is just to give yourself some little pieces of tape everywhere. And it's something quick for you to grab. It's probably better too if you just leave it off. I think you guys can see that down there over this license plate cover. It just gives me a lot to like set these pieces of paper in place first. And then you'll come back through and tape all that down. I learned a long time ago when I was younger about overspray. My stepdad taught me about that. And I had a lot of problems with overspray because I never wanted to tape off. I thought, oh, I'm pretty good with a spray can. I don't need to tape off that much area, but this stuff travels, so you definitely need to. Okay, now that you got that, you can come back around, get all the paper taped off. Be nice and clean, and we don't have a whole lot of wind today, so we shouldn't be getting a ton of overspray or any at all. Again, enjoy the process. Get lost in the process. All right, now that that's taped off, anything else, come in here and see if you need to clean anything out, and then we can tape off everything else. All the other emblems. Anything hitting the sun right now is what I'm going to take care of because I know that's nice and dried out. So for this one, I want to make sure that all the mirror and everything is covered, especially up high, because I don't want to get any overspray on this stuff. It'd be really hard to get off. And you might see like some of that degreaser went off onto our plastic here. I'm not too worried about that because I'm going to actually strip all this plastic down and put a ceramic coating on it. So that will look a lot nicer because probably at the dealership, they just put a little bit of a cover on it. They probably didn't put a ceramic coating or anything on it. So let's get that taped off. Okay, this time I got smarter with my tape job. I have all my pieces cut out over here, taped onto the side of the van for easier access. Because cutting them, each one to size, just didn't make sense. I knew the size I needed, just pre-cut everything. It's all about iteration, getting better, getting smarter, doing things more efficient, and you learn. Okay, here's where we're gonna get pretty tedious. So, got myself a bucket, and this is gonna take some time because I wanna be able to wrap all around this without this stuff in here. I don't mind so much, but I don't wanna get all of this. I think I wanna keep that all clean, and I can feel still a little bit of wetness in there. The sun hasn't hit this side yet. But I'd like to just hit the chrome and then hit all of this too. So take your time, have fun with it. I'm gonna grab some green tape because I have some smaller strips that could work better. Again, some would say this is overkill, but why not do it right? And you know, you have to look at this every day. That's the other part of it, is I'm gonna walk by this every day and think, man, I could have just done that right. Why didn't I just take the time? You know, where do we have to be? A lot of us, if we have stuff to do, hire a professional to do it. You know, don't try to take it on yourself. Only take on what you feel you can achieve. I mean, there's no point in trying to force something if you're not going to do it right. The other beauty of this whole thing is this is black, right? So if the outside of this Ram logo gets a little black on it, it's not gonna be the end of the world. But if I can keep this shiny material, I'm gonna stick with that, at least for the grill. Because getting in all of this stuff could be difficult. And you've got your radiator back there. Honestly, you don't wanna mess with that, putting a bunch of residue in there. Of spray residue. And what we're gonna do is tape off in here too with some paper, or possibly just some masking tape. Be a lot of masking tape, but again, there's something kind of relaxing about this. I don't know what it is, but I think it's just the process. It's like a little tedious, so if you're a perfectionist, it can be fun. Get lost in it. See, now that was super tedious, but in the end, that's gonna so be worth it. So what we're gonna do, instead of dealing with the paper, let's just tape this off because we get a little bit more control over this than using paper. And we're protecting our radiator. Just over the top there. And then just take some scissors and I'm just gonna round out the edges. Again, probably overkill for most people, but again, enjoy the process. Get lost in it. Not absolutely perfect, but still pretty nice. All right, now's the fun part. Just using a standard Plasti-Dip. And these first coat, you just want to go super light. So we're gonna go around and do all these right off the bat. So after each coat, you want a half an hour in between coats. So now that we've done these back two, we'll say, hey Siri, set a timer for 30 minutes.
30 minutes, starting now.
still got a little water in there. Not completely dry. So we want to make sure that these are completely dry before we start these. So we're going to hold off on these rims because they haven't dried completely yet. All right, so that's my timer for 30 minutes. Again, just another light coat. It's good there. Good there. So my timer just went off for another 30 minutes. So we'll put another coat on here. So this rim looks dry now. Nothing's seeping out of it. This one's been in the sun for a bit. So we can go ahead and start our first coat on this one. Again, not too thick on the first one. Just want to get coverage, and then we'll come back to it and we'll layer it up and it'll bond a lot better. All right, I'm putting some of the last coats on the emblems here. And one thing I noticed that is if you're not constantly cleaning your nozzle, you're gonna get some splatter and it doesn't look very good, and then you're gonna have to kind of try to clean that up. So make sure after you're done with each round, you're cleaning your nozzle and you'll get a nicer, cleaner spray. This is the 5th coat on these emblems. And it's good to let them sit overnight before you touch them a lot. You definitely don't want to wash your vehicle for at least 24 hours. But I think this is really nice coverage on this, so feeling pretty good about this one. I'm gonna let it sit for a while, and then I'll start peeling away the edges. All the rims are dry enough now. This is the 3rd coat on this one because this rim dried up first. So we're getting pretty close to being done with this one. Now we get the satisfaction of pulling off the Plasti-Dip and see how well we did. Looks like this corner's already started, so we'll just pull up on that slowly. Just kind of roll your finger. Once we get up to the logo, you want to take it really careful. It should cut right there. Don't know how well you can see that. Let's look. So it should just start cutting right around it. Nice and clean. It's looking pretty good. I'm having a little bit of some coverage issues, so I'm gonna make sure I get enough coats on this front, because this is gonna take a lot of rock chips and stuff like that too. So I wanna make sure this is coated really well. And as for the emblems on the side, those are looking really nice as well. Really liking what I'm seeing there. And then I've got the first coat on here, and I'm gonna start adding additional coats to this as well. So they're looking pretty good. We'll check back probably when we're done.